Hello, everybody. My name is Doreen Morin Van Dam. I am your community manager right here in Social Media Pro Connect. I'm also the content manager for Social Media Pro. I'm so excited to be here and have my friend Christian back. He already did a hangout for us a while back, but it's great to have him here. He's going to talk us through YouTube, which is great. Last week, you know that Steve Dotto was here and he talked about types of video and how to talk to your clients about what kind of videos they need. And Christian's going to dive into, we're actually going to go to YouTube and dive into more technical stuff. So I'm really excited to have him here. So let me read you his bio. Christian Karasiewicz, and I always butcher it, but I hope I did it right this time, is a consultant and public speaker of social media, internet marketing, and technology. He's the founder of Social Chefs, a company providing social media marketing training for customers in the B2C and B2B space. He's also the host of Social Chatter, is the longest running weekly social media marketing talk show with Phil Gerbachak, and co-founder of the Launch Your Life podcast with Jim Fuse. With over 14 years of experience across social media, e-commerce, search engine optimization, internet marketing, and related technologies, Christian strives to help individuals and businesses create meaningful social media campaigns to connect and engage with their customers and keep them coming back for more. Christian has created digital campaigns and strategies for Fortune 500 companies such as IBM, General Dynamics, Shop.com, government agencies, and more. He specializes in working with small to medium-sized businesses across a variety of industries, including online retailers, entrepreneurs, celebrities, musicians, athletes, defense contractors, news organizations, fashion designers, and jewelry artists. So welcome, Christian.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very excited, actually. So I just finished an episode of Social Chatter and came right over here. So I'm actually looking forward to talking about YouTube SEO today. So where do you want to go, by the way? How do you want to start? Where do you want to?
Well, let's just, let me just lay it out for you. Our students are people who are learning how to do social media management, right? So we're in the Social Media Pro course where we're learning the principles of marketing, whether, you're going to apply them on YouTube or different places. So of course, YouTube comes up. And we know that it starts with content. Organic social media starts with good content. And so we know good content includes video. So we've been told, we know we should be on YouTube. We know to tell our clients they should be on YouTube. And we learned last week from Steve that it's not as simple as creating one video and posting it everywhere, because you have to create content for YouTube. So once we have figured out what content we're going to create, we have a client who we direct, we get the video is on there. We don't really know how to manage it. So that's where you come in. We have some questions. You were gonna maybe help us, figure out where the optimization of the video comes in, SEO, how to upload it, maybe even talk a little bit about tags and all those good things that help us, because that's what we want to learn about.
Perfect. So, I think the first thing I want to start with is just talking about just SEO in general. So if you've ever done any sort of, if you published any sort of content, for example, on a blog, okay? I'm going to start with a blog because SEO from a blog over to YouTube, it's very similar, actually. You're basically trying to get your content in front of the right audience. And a lot of times it comes down to keyword research, actually. That's really the first part of it. You want to make sure that whatever you are creating is something that your audience is interested in viewing, and that you're putting those keywords into that content. So, it's going to start with the keyword research. So I'm going to take your videos, Dorian, here. So let me actually pull your channel up.
All right. And now everybody remember, I haven't put any videos on there for a long time. It's on my bucket list for 2025 to go back to there. But it's okay.
So I'm going to pull up your tab here. So basically this is what I have, and I actually have a couple of tools installed as well. One of the tools, by the way, I strongly recommend everybody check out. I'm going to drop this in the chat. I'll drop it in the chat afterwards. Yeah. But basically what it does is it allows me to go in, it allows me to actually see what keywords people are using, keywords and tags for their videos. this is a very useful thing. Actually, it will allow me to go in and see what people are using in their videos, what someone else is using. So for example, if I go into search and I type in a keyword and I want to pull up a video, I can go there and I can see exactly, for example, what other videos come up. So Dorian, so you've got, as I can see here, I'm going to go down to your videos. So like, let's pull up like how to leave a Facebook group. Okay. So I'm just gonna pull up the video.
Yeah, I just have a question, Christian. You mentioned you have a
Yeah,
tool.
sure.
You're going to leave a link, but what is the name of that tool?
So TubeBuddy is the tool that I use.
TubeBuddy.
Yes. So I recommend checking out TubeBuddy. Definitely. The reason I recommend that one is it actually, so when you basically create a new piece of content, there's a checklist that you have to go through. And that checklist is pretty straightforward. It's pick a keyword that you're going to try to rank your video for. And you can rank for multiple phrases as well, by the way. So you want to use those as tags, essentially. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We pick out a keyword. That's what we want our video to be focused on. In this case, it says, hey, how to leave a Facebook group. So you might want to use the word leave a Facebook group, for example, as your keyword phrase. You might put in how to leave a Facebook group. The other great thing is, by the way, these tools, they actually will suggest additional keywords for you. So if you're trying to use like how to exit a Facebook group, somebody might think, well, hey, that's the right way that I should phrase this. However, it's not what somebody's searching for. And the goal is you want to be hitting the keywords that they are searching for. So if it's how to leave a Facebook group, that's the first thing. Okay. So then the next thing we obviously have here, like, there's not much in terms of a description in your video. It just says, hey, how to leave a Facebook group, a tutorial on how to leave a Facebook group. So what I would actually do here is I would say something like, learn how to leave a Facebook group that you no longer want to be a part of. Okay. So that might be the first thing I would put there. Now, in addition to that, the other thing I always tell people, if you write any sort of written content, you want to put a link to that article in the actual description. So it's important there because that's actually a ranking factor that Google looks for as well.
For a link in your description.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you have a video, don't just say like, okay, I'm going to take this video and I'm going to put it up on YouTube and I'm going to start ranking. So put a video up on YouTube. But then what I always do is I actually create two pieces of content. I create a video, but then I also write that and publish it on my blog. And the reason I do that is because I can potentially rank for 2 spots on Google. So I can rank for the video and I can actually rank for the blog post. Now, I use the same keyword optimization. So if it's how to leave, let's just say leave a Facebook group is the right phrase we want to rank for. My video might be targeting leave a Facebook group, how to leave a Facebook group, and some additional phrases. But then my blog post will have the same kind of URL. It'll have the keyword phrase in the URL. So that's another bonus point for me to be ranking for. Okay.
All right.
Next thing I'll also do, I actually, if I'm using, like, in this case, it's a video and it's a step-by-step video, what I will also do, and this is actually a super handy feature, is I will try to break down each step in the video. So YouTube, one feature they're actually starting to roll out, it's called YouTube video chapters. And what these basically do is they're almost like a bookmark. So basically, if somebody, let's say I make say this video was longer than 1.5 minutes, say it was 5 minutes, and I have different points like how to leave, maybe I cover how to join a Facebook group, how to leave a Facebook group, and some other features. I actually can go in the video. So like, I'm going to fast forward right here. So I'm going to go to 21 seconds in. Now, if I want to actually send somebody this link and say, hey, start it at 21 seconds. Okay. I'm not just going to copy the URL here at the top. I'm actually going to right click on my video. And there's actually a feature that says copy URL at current time.
Ooh.
And I'm going to actually expand this window so you guys can see this. So as you can see, this is the standard URL here, right?
Yeah.
So if I paste the URL, it actually is adding the time onto the end.
Ooh.
So what now happens is if I copy this and I go into your description, this was obviously my video, and I paste it, it actually adds a clickable timestamp so people can easily click into the video and jump right to the part of the video. So if you have a very long video, if it's a 20-minute video, a 1-hour video, for example, you can go and set these time stamps. Now, that timestamp might then have additional keywords that are related to, in this case, leaving a Facebook group. So it might be, maybe at 21 seconds, it might be how to leave a Facebook group, how to access your Facebook group settings. So I'm adding in additional keywords into that video versus just giving them, a 1.5 minute video and expecting them to watch the whole thing.
And you're putting that in the description.
Yes.
Excellent. I've never even heard of that. That's great. Wow.
So that covers pretty much most of the description for a video. Now, again, you want to make sure you're using keywords that people actually are interested in, that they're looking for. You also don't want, just like regular SEO, so like SEO for a blog or Google search, you don't want to keyword stuff your description. So you don't want to be putting the title, how to leave a Facebook group, and then throughout the description, learn how to leave a Facebook group. This tutorial will teach you how to leave a Facebook group. You want to use synonyms basically as much as you can. Okay?
Yeah.
And actually, one other little trick to this is if you go over to Google. So I'm going to open up a tab and we're going to type in how to leave a Facebook group. Okay. So I'm going to put this into Google. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. And I don't know if everybody knows this, but there's this whole section down here at the bottom. And this whole section, these are actually keywords that I can potentially include. These are keywords or tags that I would put into a video that I'm using. So for example, your video is how to leave a Facebook group. However, let's say you expanded the scope of your video, how to leave a Facebook group. You could make one video and it could be how to leave a Facebook group. And then it could be on desktop, iOS, and Android. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what I would say, okay, I would set my chapter markers in my description of my video. And then I would actually use some of these tags down here that are here at the bottom. So how to leave a Facebook group on Android, how to leave a Facebook group on iPhone, for example, or iOS, how to leave a Facebook group on desktop, and even something as simple as this, how to leave a Facebook group 2019. I might even put, if it's 2020, how to leave a Facebook group in 2020. The reason I say that is because a lot of people will look for a video, like, let's look at these at the top. So how to leave a Facebook group. And this is this video is 4 years old. This video is 8 years old. This video is 1 year old. And here's the thing. Chances are this video is probably going to get a lot of views, even though it's 8 years old and it's technically outdated. Mm-hmm. So, you want to try and pick up
mine. Did you see this date stamp on mine?
I didn't see the date exactly. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so 8 years old. But hey, you know what? Here's the thing. You're still generating 12,000 plus views.
Yeah.
So that's one of the first things I would do. You got to come up with the keyword, and then we basically sprinkle it throughout this actual video. By the way, I've removed the period on your video as well. You've got extra period there.
No period.
Yeah, take the period out. And also, by the way, if this was how to leave a Facebook group in 2020, I would make sure that I try to put the keyword phrase at the beginning of the video title. So in this case, it's very short, how to leave a Facebook group. So, but address some of those questions that people might have. So it might be like how to leave a Facebook group in 2020. Then in 2021, you make an updated video, how to leave a Facebook group in 2021, and so on.
So I have a question for you. Yeah, so this is a 8-year-old video. I haven't done very much on my YouTube channel. I started getting really busy with clients. I'm doing stuff for them, not for myself. Okay. Would it behoove me to go in? I mean, obviously I'm thinking yes at this point, to go and do the things that you just said, update the description and all of that. Or should I make a new video? Or how can I update? The video is old. It's 8 years old. Right. Can I update this video without losing all of this? Or do I need to make a new video? That's my question.
Okay. So the key thing you have to look at here is the content. So whenever and this is key for any kind of YouTube video. So you want to make sure you're focusing on evergreen video content. So it's very easy. So we can all fall into this trap. We can easily make these little tutorials. So for example, how to leave a Facebook group. Makes a lot of sense if I'm just getting started. Hey, I'm going to make these videos. Now, what I would say though, is you need to think with the bigger picture here. So if it's a video that I'd watch it first and say, okay, is it outdated? Because if the steps are very outdated, here's what's going to happen. you're going to have a lot of people leave comments and they're going to say something to the effect of, hey, I tried to do this now and it doesn't work anymore. So what ends up happening is you actually create more work for yourself. So unfortunately, YouTube does not give you a way to replace a video. So if you already rank for this video, they don't give you the ability to actually go in and replace it with an updated version. That's why I also said, well, hey, why don't we do one for how to leave a Facebook group? And then we could try to rank for this one. And then we make a second one that's like how to leave a Facebook group in 2020.
Okay. So you would just add a new one, and then
Yes.
can you point one video to the other and say, I have an updated version?
Yes. And actually, this is another SEO ranking factor for YouTube videos. So let's say you wrote a blog post or you have a second YouTube video. What everyone should do with their videos is at the top, basically should leave a comment that tells people, hey, here's an updated version of my video on how to leave a Facebook group. And there's actually a feature when you do leave the comment here, it will actually be pinned to top. And it will pin your comment to the top of the video.
So you can pin points to the new video from the old video, pin
Yes.
comments.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So every video that you make, you should try to put a comment in at the top of the video. So basically when you publish the video, go in, one of the first things I'll tell people to do is post a comment, and there will be 3 dots here on the side, and it'll give you the option to pin the comment on that channel, and you pin it on your channel. And that will keep that video comment up there. So for example, if you have a blog post you've already written, put that at the top. Maybe it's something like, hey, if you have questions, leave them here in the comments, or you can check out the full article here and then include the link.
Excellent. Excellent.
So that's a way for people to easily get to it. Now, here's what I would do. So I have this video, it's 8 years old. I would still update this video. I do 2 things. I would optimize this video for how to leave a Facebook group.
Mm-hmm.
But then I would make a second video and say how to leave a Facebook group in 2020. So you have 2 videos. The reason I would do that is because let's go look at YouTube search. So how to leave a Facebook group. Okay. So if I go over here and look at how to leave a Facebook group, chances are like I can see, okay, well, who is my competition? So we saw this guy earlier,
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, how to remove yourself from a Facebook group. He put a whole bunch of hashtags in there and he put a blog post link. He's got about 2,100 subscribers and about 11,000 views. So, I think you have a good chance to go about ranking for a video. So if I were you, I would go and try to actually update that.
All right.
Okay?
Excellent.
So
got homework.
Yeah, lots of homework. Now, I want to run through also this stuff on the side here. So as you can see, these are related searches that people do using this tool. So, this is a tool I use, the TubeBuddy tool, and, it actually gives me additional options that I can include in my tags. So I would say, okay, I narrow down my focus. How to leave a Facebook group. Fantastic. Okay, well, let's look through some of these keywords. People have said, well, hey, how do I leave a Facebook group chat? How do I leave a Facebook group permanently? We're not going to say like how to leave a Facebook group permanently. That's a bit of a lengthy tag, but we do want to make sure we pick the right ones that are associated with our video. And also, as you can see down here at the bottom, by the way, so if we said, hey, how to leave a Facebook group, that's a pretty big search term, but hey, just using the phrase Facebook group, that's something that we can include. Leave Facebook groups. Again, lots of tags that you can incorporate into your video. Now you want to make sure that any of the tags that you pick, that they are related to what you are actually writing about. So what your video is about. Okay.
All right. And when you use this tool, you actually just click it and it updates it for that video and that imports it?
Yes. So, and there's a couple other reasons why I use this tool. So some of those reasons are it lets me do the keyword research without having to go to other tools, or to just do, for example, like we're doing right now, I'm doing a search and I'm looking at what videos are here and I have to kind of guess, well, okay, what are they doing? So instead it lets me actually peek behind the curtain. So I'm going to pick, let's pick this guy's video right here, this 2,100 subscriber video. So let's look at what tags he is using for the same exact kind of video. Okay. So basically what will happen is they will load on the side here and we can actually go in. And the reason I look at this is this. So as you can see, look at this. This guy is ranking for all of these different keywords for leaving a Facebook group. So he's got how to remove yourself from a Facebook group. So he's ranking number 1. How do I remove myself from Facebook groups? Remove from Facebook group, remove Facebook group, leave Facebook group, and so forth. So the reason I use this tool is not just because like I can see what they rank for, but I can actually do a couple things. I can actually go in here and I can actually click this icon. I can copy all of these tags right out of this video, and I can put them into my video with a lot less effort.
Oh, okay. So now is it a Chrome extension that you add?
There is a Chrome extension. Actually, I think you can I think you guys can see this.
Yes, we can see that. Yep.
Yeah. So there is a Chrome extension you can run. There's also a website as well that you can log into. Now, the benefit to using this tool is that it helps with a couple of things. So A, you can see what people are actually using for their videos. You can easily copy all those tags out. Now, I'm not advocating copy and just use the same ones because again, like let's use Dorian as an example here. So if she wants to rank for her name, she might want to drop her name in the tags. If she has a business that she runs, she wants to drop the business in there as well. She doesn't just want to focus on just the Facebook group tags. She wants to make sure she's trying to rank for herself and whatnot as well, so that it comes up for, for like people maybe searching for her name. So definitely that's the tool I'm showing you all. Now, there's a couple other things also, by the way, that are super, super, super important for videos. So it doesn't work for a live video, but if you are uploading a native video to YouTube, another little trick is you want to make sure you are naming your video with the actual type, like the keywords you want to use. So going back to your example here, Dorian. So if I wanted to also then, if I made a new video and I said how to leave a Facebook group, I actually want to put the title of the video with the keyword when I upload it to YouTube. So it would be how-to-leave-a-Facebook-group, or I could also
as a title, as a
file name.
As a file name.
Yes, because it actually goes into YouTube as that particular file name. So
file name is title.
Yes.
Or title is file name. Okay, that's another great tip. Gosh, you've already given us so many tips. This is awesome.
So that's one thing you definitely want to make sure you take advantage of for that type of thing. Now, in addition to that, a couple other things that are also like super important. You talked about like, okay, so I've got this video that's however many years old it was. So I'm going to pull up the same video again, and I also want to cover just the fact that a thumbnail is also really important. So you want to make sure that you are, if you've got a link to a new piece of content or an updated video or whatnot, put that in the first comment, pin it to the top. Now, the other things you want to make sure you also do is you want to have a thumbnail as well on every single video. YouTube gives you the option to, pick one of the random thumbnails that they pick. However, like let's use this example of this, how to leave a Facebook group. At the time, this makes a lot of sense. However, I think that over time, you'll want to actually have something that looks much better.
Yeah,
so
you're not sharing anymore. Yeah, share with us and show us.
Yes. Okay. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to pull up the video again. So this is the search results for how to leave a Facebook group. And as you can see, this video, this is a 9-year-old video, but this one really stands out to me. This one, this one stands out as well. Facebook group, leave group. It's not very, it's not pretty, but it does stand out. So if you are, for example, creating a channel, you want to start to build a thumbnail that really pops. So it might have your brand colors in it. It might have your photo on the video as well. It might have your logo, but you want to make sure you upload a thumbnail to every video. Now the thumbnail, again, I do the same thing. I put the keywords in my thumbnail as well. So if it's how to leave a Facebook group, I might do something like leave-a-Facebook-group -thumbnail, for example. And so just that little bit of keyword, optimization you're putting in there into the file, it's something that YouTube does like. So definitely make sure you go and put that in there as well. Does that make sense?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Okay. So, and again, I mean, like I said earlier, it's literally a checklist that all you're doing is putting it into every video that you create. And the key thing is, if I'm somebody, for example, if I'm into vlogging, here's what most vloggers do. they publish a video and that's it. Maybe they'll use like YouTube Live, for example, but they don't publish any written content. They don't optimize the videos necessarily. They don't optimize the written content as well. So they work hand in hand actually when you do both of those things.
All right, excellent.
Now, in addition to this, by the way, I also want to show this to everyone. So Google has a tool. It's called Google Trends. And so if you're wondering, well, what videos should I be making? And I'll go to the other ones as well in the chat in a second here, but Google Trends, you can go and you can see, okay, is this actually relevant content? I saw somebody talking about like coronavirus and COVID-19. I saw that in their tags of one of the videos. You do want to make sure you go and look and see, okay, is this the right word that I want to optimize? Is this something that's actually popular? So you go to, I think it's google.com/trends. I think that's the URL. But basically, if you look at what's going on here, this is worldwide videos from 2008 to present. And people are looking up how to leave a Facebook group more than how to leave a group on Facebook. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So, the reason they're looking up how to leave a Facebook group is because Facebook group, those are two standard words that people are going to look for versus how do I actually leave a group on Facebook? So you want to make sure you try to go with the one that seems to have the most popularity. In this case, it's got 100 versus 47, 33, and so.
Okay.
So that's definitely something we want to check out. Okay. So let me go back to the chat real quick. Let's see if there's any questions in there that I can answer.
If you have any questions, guys, go ahead and ask Christian. So far, this has been really great. I'm getting ready to work with a long-term client who I've begged her to make videos, and now she's finally ready, and her field people, her team is ready to make videos, and they're looking for ideas. So I think have some of the ideas going. Now we're working at formatting, and then it's going to be up to me to upload and to really optimize them. So this is very timely for me, and I think that a lot of people have had questions about YouTube. So this is great, Christian. It's really, really good timing for everybody.
And I absolutely love doing YouTube optimization. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's like, I think it's fun because it's like, okay, am I making the right content? Because here's the thing. A lot of times we think that, what's important to me is what I should create. And it's actually not that way. It's what's important to my audience. If I'm trying to get in front of the audience, I want to make sure I'm creating that content and I'm optimizing it the right way, instead of just actually creating a YouTube video and, oh, hey, I'm hoping that I rank for it.
Right. So, and I think that's a lot of us don't know this. I know as a blogger, I know the blogging stuff. And every time I tell somebody, it's like, whoa, but it took me a lot of years to figure this out. So it makes sense that the same with Google. We do have a couple of questions. Could you run through the location and possibilities for keywords again?
Sure, absolutely. So I have another video. I'll pull this one up and we'll talk about this video. Does that work?
Yeah. Yeah. And then what could we be using for cards at the end?
Okay. Yeah.
And,
let's talk about that as well.
Also, does YouTube still auto-generate closed captions that we can download an SRT file? So those are just kind of different things.
Perfect. Okay. So let's talk about video. So, Prayer That Heals sent a video in.
Yeah.
So, as you can see, I mean, they've got, what do we have? So this video is 7 years old, 9,500 views. Chances are, I'm going to assume this is still good content to be creating, that it's evergreen content, that people are still actually viewing it. One thing I would say on something like this is, for this type of video, you want to go into your YouTube analytics and you want to check to make sure that your videos are actually still getting viewed. So a couple of things at least that stand out to me. So I look at these videos, I definitely think you need to create a thumbnail for every single video, that really pops, that really stands out. I mean, it's got a bit of so the view that I see here is like, okay, this is maybe a few years ago when it was harder to create thumbnails. Nowadays you can use tools, you can use Easel, you can use Canva, there's all sorts of design programs to be able to make those thumbnails that really pop, that sell your brand as well.
I noticed that some of the videos that she has on there there's one that's only 6 days old. And so they have quite a few views, but they don't have thumbnails. So that's important to note.
And the other thing I would say to something like this, so let's take this video, the how and why and wonder of spiritual healing. Okay, so what is the what's the keyword you're trying to optimize for here?
Let's see, spiritual healing.
Okay, so spiritual healing. Okay, so what I would do is I would go first. I look at our tags here. So we're trying to rank for spiritual healing. I see we have COVID-19, we've got coronavirus, we've got Christianity. So we've got some of these keywords are very, very generic. So for example, Christianity. If you're going to try to rank for Christianity, that's a hard topic to rank for because chances are anyone else who's also into this area, they're going to try to rank for the same thing. It's like somebody going to Google and trying to rank for like lawyer. They want to come up on the top. So you need to think much with much more like you need to use longer tail keywords. So for example, it's instead of Christianity, it might be something like how spiritual healing or let's like we'll use the example of Beth Packer here, for example. So I would say Beth Packer should be a keyword because you want to try to rank for her name. So if people search for her on YouTube or even on Google, remember Google owns YouTube, your video can come up when somebody searches for her name. And I'd put your brand in there, Prayer That Heals. As you can see, you rank #1 there. That's pretty easy to do, but we need to go much deeper than that. So for example, I would honestly, I'd be careful using coronavirus and COVID-19 as tags. The main reason is YouTube, Facebook, all of these channels, they're all doing the same thing. Basically, they're cracking down on people using those phrases at the moment. They're cracking down on them because, even though you might have the best intentions, there are a lot of people that are using them to, to charge people for like ridiculous amounts for like toilet paper and hand sanitizer and things like that. And even though you don't have those intentions, they might be blocking those tags specifically. So if you are using them on your videos, those channels, they might block them, which might preclude them from showing up in search. Let me actually check the comments here real quick, by the way, as well. Let's see. Okay, yes. So intro video, yes. Okay, so I would say we need to pick a main keyword. So spiritual healing, that might be good. Okay, let's expand that a little bit more. What else can we talk about spiritual healing? Again, I'm not entirely familiar with that area. So if there are certain keywords that we want to use, let's look this up. So like, let's see, spiritual healing. Okay, so let's see, wrong tool actually. Okay, so we have no topics. Let's see. So I would say, can you think of any other ones offhand, Dorian, that you might want to try to put in here?
Spiritual healing, natural healing. I'm looking at, look at her description.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see. Verified healing.
Okay.
Let's see.
So here's a shortcut actually I would take if it were me.
Okay.
If I said okay, spiritual healing is something I want to rank for, let's go look and see what other people are doing.
Sure. That's a good idea. Always good to look to your competitors, guys. Always.
So there's a couple things I'm going to look at here. So the first thing I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at that thumbnail. What actually stands out to me? So to me, this purple one stands out. So again, I mean, like having that initial thumbnail is important because sometimes people will actually watch videos with the sound off. So they'll watch with the captions and so forth, and they'll gravitate towards what actually, pops out at them. So I might start with something like that. It looks like you're also, I'm going to guess you're trying to rank for spiritual healing for this video that has 1,300 views and this other one that has 1,200 views as well. They were both published, I guess, on the same day.
Yeah.
So, that's another thing I would look at for sure. Now, your description, it does not have to be very lengthy. But again, you want to make sure you're focusing on the actual keyword. So we've got spiritual healing in here. Let's see. So spiritual healing, Beth Packer. What else do we have here? So you're using the word healing. That's good.
Maybe power of prayer.
Yeah. So the bottom line is you want to pick like, okay, so spiritual healing. Let's see what some of these top videos are doing. So this one that is outranking you by a massive amount because they have almost 600,000 views. Let's look at their video and see what they're doing. And by the way, I have another tip. I meant to mention this earlier, actually. So for those of you running a video one other thing you want to make sure you do is you want to put in hashtags as well. So these are actually very, very, very useful. You can have, if you put more than 3, YouTube only allows 3. And what actually happens is when you put the hashtags in there, so you see here at the top, there's this title for the video.
Yeah.
The hashtags will actually go above the video of the title actually.
So where do you enter the hashtags, Christian?
You put them in your description of your video.
Description of your video. Okay.
So put hashtags in the video, and then you can put them there, and you can put them in the comments. And the reason that you do that, it works just like a normal hashtag does on Twitter. When somebody clicks on it, it actually brings up search results.
Okay. So that's another thing. So after we do this, if we can go back to kind of doing a checklist, like all the different SEO stuff, because now we have hashtags and description and comments and files, and there's lots of places. So
lots of areas.
Yeah.
So let me pull up a video actually. So I'm going to pull up a video and I'll show you where I put the hashtags. Okay, so I've got this video. Let's go ahead and mute this real quick so it doesn't play for you all. Okay, so as you can see, so here on the top, you actually have the hashtags.
Oh, okay.
So, you want to pick the ones that you want to try to rank for. So
Sure.
for example, I have a show, it's called Social Chatter. It's a social media marketing talk show. And in this case, I put Jim, who is my co-host for this show, I put him in as a hashtag. Now, in addition to this, you don't see this, but in the description, I actually used a second hashtag, and that was actually for the guest. And so if you go to the bottom here, I put them at the bottom, but Angus Nelson was my guest. So this is something you also want to pay attention to. So if you want to rank for 3 hashtags, what I would do is, for instance, I put my show name, I put what it was, and then I should actually change out, if Angus is who I want to rank for, I should put Angus's name there instead of Jim first.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and this is what I was mentioning. So if you click on, let's use Jem as an example. So if I click on Jem, here's what's going to come back. So as you can see, anything that he has a hashtag on for that video. And as you can see, he's got quite a few videos here. So in this case, this gives me the opportunity to potentially rank for Jem Fuse. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's also, I don't know if anybody else knew that. I mean, I knew you could use hashtags on a lot of different platforms. Don't think I knew you can do that in, that's a lot of,
yeah, exactly.
That's a lot of videos.
That's a lot. Yes.
That's a lot. So that's really cool. And it helps you with ranking, but also helps you with search.
Yes. So,
okay.
And the benefit is, for example, if it's spiritual healing, I might want to put a hashtag of spiritual healing in the description.
Right.
So therefore, when somebody clicks on spiritual healing, because obviously, social, social's about, it's about interacting with people and connecting with people. And so if I focus on spiritual healing, for example, and somebody's, starts to see all my videos because, hey, I'm the only one doing hashtags, you have a good chance then at that point to outrank your competitor. Okay?
So prayer for health.
Prayer for health. So that would be something where I would say, make a website, make a web page. So for example, it could be a blog post. If it's something that is I'd say sort of temporary. So you could make a blog post about, let's see, 10 things to know about prayer for health, or it could be prayer for health, 10 things to know about it. Mm-hmm. And then your URL that you use would be something like prayer-for-health.
Right.
So, and then once you have that content published, I would actually take the video. I would embed the video in my actual article that I write.
Okay.
And in addition to that, I would publish the video on YouTube separately. So that way I'm hitting basically both channels, both Google and both YouTube. Now, another thing also, by the way, you need to make sure you pay attention to. So I'm not sure how popular your blog is or how new it is, but if you just publish an article on Google and Google has not crawled your site, you need to work to get them to crawl your site. So it's not just about publishing content. YouTube likes to they want to have, basically they aren't going to crawl your site until they're told to go crawl your site. And so, for example, what you could end up doing is maybe you go to someone else's website who is already ranking for something, and you publish an article on their site and then link back to yours. That will actually help initiate Google crawling your website or crawling it more frequently.
All right, and we've said that before, guys, and we offer this. We have a blog, Social Media Pro, that is active. If you ever want to be a guest blogger for us, if you have good content, case study, you can be a guest blogger on our blog, socialmediapro.com. Send me an email, Doreen@socialmediapro.com, and I'll send you the specs for being a guest blogger, and that could be a great start to a career in YouTube. Look at that. So.
Definitely. So I'm going to go back to the spiritual healing one, by the way. So, a couple of things I'm going to look at here. So they're not using very many tags in their videos. They've got 5 here. And what's very interesting actually is this. This is actually it's called Death Spiritual Healing. I'm not sure if this is again, excuse my ignorance here, but this looks to me like this is just a video that is uploaded about a song. It has heavy metal actually in it, which is kind of interesting as well, death metal. So that's a very unique video actually. So they're ranking well for spiritual healing also, probably because they're actually getting a whole lot of comments on this video as well. So
right. If you look at the topics, it says rock music.
Exactly right. And so here's another reason why this video is probably ranking well. It's not the fact that they've got 5,100 engagements on the thumbs up here. It's not the fact that they have however many subscribers, 16,000 subscribers on their channel. The other factor that Google takes into this is if you optimize your video for a keyword. So for example, spiritual healing, you're optimizing it throughout the title, a little bit in the description, the tags and so forth. But engagement is also very important. So at the beginning of a video, if you watch any YouTube video, they're all going to tell you the same thing, or they're going to start with the same spiel. It's going to be an intro, and then they're going to be something like, hey guys, today we're going to talk about spiritual healing for optimal health. Before we begin, please be sure to click the like button to give us a, thumbs up, and click the notification bell as well. So people will do that. So part of the reason they do that is because it's sort of if you think about it, it's actually a little bit of a gimmick. So the more engagement that the video gets, so the more likes that they get, it spikes on Google or YouTube, and then they actually will start to show that video more because there is that engagement. Now, the second thing also with this is the number of comments. So throughout your video, as you're making your video, you want to make sure you have things that are going to encourage people to leave comments. And I don't mean like, okay, let's be misleading and let's leave out parts of the video so people have to ask comments. Let's actually do it. And seriously, people actually do that, right, Dorian? So don't be misleading, but have points in your video where you're asking your viewers to leave some comments, for example. So, that's why, for example, if you're doing a YouTube live video and you have a lot of engagement, you have a lot of people viewing, that's a great way, for example, to get those videos to rank and to get them to stay up there, because if people are viewing them, and they're either getting the thumbs up because, hey, you told them to, or they're asking questions because it's a live video. And obviously that's kind of the point of having a live video. It's definitely something you want to also try and tap into. So you kind of need to think about that when you're making the video. Don't just start the video and just say, well, hey, okay, great. Today I'm going to talk about, X, Y, and Z. And, if it's short and to the point and it doesn't lend itself well for comments, it is going to, it might start off well, but it might actually then just really drop from a YouTube rankings perspective.
Right.
Because YouTube doesn't see it as useful at that point. If people are watching it and, they're not asking any questions, they're not engaging. So what other questions, by the way, do we have about this? I'm happy to go through.
I think that was it. Let's see. Are there any things, I guess the last thing that I would like to know, and I don't want to keep you too long, is I know this is your zone. I can tell. This is and I love this too. And it's interesting that you started out by comparing it to SEO for blogging, because that never clicked in my head, and it makes complete sense. And I use a tool there as well. I use SEMrush to use tags and all of that. So it makes sense to use a tool for this. Can we circle back to downloading the captions? Okay. That was her question.
What do you want to know about captions? Let's cover that. So YouTube does they will generate captions for you. I don't know if you want to take over, Dorian, and maybe pull up the back, can you take over and pull up the back end of your video? So
Of
we can
my
like,
video?
yeah.
Sure, sure. Okay. So if you stop sharing,
And while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about a couple other things, by the way. So there's a tool, a free tool, actually, if you need to actually add captions to your videos or you want to download them and put them on your videos. It's actually called Aegis Sub. It's kind of a weird name, but basically it's for entering captions, basically creating captions for your videos.
okay.
So I always recommend that captions, by the way, that's a whole nother thing. You have to think about who your audience is. You know, if people are viewing your videos, you know, and like you need to look at the actual analytics. So let's actually do this story and let's go in and we'll look at the analytics.
Okay. So on the left side, right?
Uh, on the right side, actually, yeah.
On the right side?
On your side,
Oh.
yes. Sorry, I can't see you.
So go
Click on
to,
your, yeah, there we go. So let's go to YouTube Studio.
okay.
And actually, I'll try to get a convenient link for people to be able to go
Oops.
to.
Okay. So how do I click out of that?
Let me find out where you went. Okay, so 1 second. Let me move this over. Okay, so click that. Yeah, let's click there. Let's go down to YouTube Studio on the right.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I clicked to get out of this.
So click. Let's see. Click Learn, or actually just click in the gray area outside. See if
There
it'll
you
work.
go. Yeah. All right.
Okay, so let's go over to the left. Let's go to the analytics. And by the way, I mean, analytics are like, they may seem frightening to a lot of people, you know, like, hey, I got to look at a whole bunch of numbers and kind of dissect things, but it's very important to like check your analytics. And that's partly because you can actually then see, okay, if I'm making like, for instance, that video that Prayer That Heals made, it was 1 hour and 15 minutes. And
Right.
that's 1 hour and 15 minutes, not including the prep time, not including the optimization time that you have to spend as well. So what
Mm-hmm.
I would do is I would go into my videos here and I would actually look at the analytics for a specific video to see if 1 hour and 15 minutes is the right thing. Are people dropping off at 30 minutes? Are they even watching? You know, how much time are they actually watching? So for example, if you go to your videos here, so let's see. So how to leave a Facebook group. Let's use that as an example.
So click on that.
Yeah, let's click on that. So that video is, people are watching about 44% of it. Okay.
And then they realize it's old.
Well, yeah, right. Part of it could be that it's old, but then part of it also could be, well, they're watching the 44 seconds because they don't need all of the other stuff. As you can see here, this is the
Ah.
graph we have here. This is for this specific video. So every video that you publish on YouTube will have an audience retention option. And I strongly recommend maybe do this once a month if you're publishing a whole bunch of videos, that you go in and you check your videos. Because, for example, if you might think, okay, well, hey, they should be 10 minutes long. But if people are dropping off after 2 minutes, either A, my intro is not very good, or, you know, they want me to get to the material faster, or maybe they're fast forwarding through it. In this case, your video, I mean, if you click on the see more option.
Yep.
Okay. So let's see. Okay, so if you click on the see more option, so obviously we see like how many views you're getting. And I mean, I guess maybe this isn't the best example, only because it is a bit of an old video, but you can go through and you can see where you're getting your traffic from. For example, for this particular type of video, we can see the geography. So in this case, I mean, let's see what's there. So we've got an external site. So YouTube, so direct or unknown means that it's directly on YouTube. You know, YouTube search is giving you nothing basically.
No.
You're showing up on 18 impressions, but again, it's probably because the video might be a little bit outdated, or that thumbnail, for example, might be updated. So I would recommend going through all the videos you want to rank for and go through and actually look at the time that people are watching on it and correct that, because the goal is this. The goal is you want to get the video to rank, but you want to make sure that you're also engaging with the audience. So if the audience is doing those things, like I said, liking the video, leaving a comment, for instance, sharing it, the more those signals are happening, the more that Google wants to show your video to other people. Now, the other part though that plays into it is the link to the video. So if they're, you know, watching a couple seconds of the video and they're bored of it, you know, and they're immediately clicking off, that's also a signal, hey, maybe we shouldn't show this video to people because people aren't actually spending the time watching it. So, you do want to make sure that you're creating good quality content. Do you have a question, Dorian?
No, I think it's I don't have a question. I think that's great. My mind is going somewhere, and I
Okay.
think it's going to where Steve was last week.
Yeah.
So using TubeTubby tool, or using your knowledge, your expertise, if you wanted to create a new batch of videos, Steve
Sure.
said,
Yeah.
start with, they ask you answer questions.
Yep.
So if you get your clients telling you these are the questions that come in, say
Yeah.
I'm helping my client,
Mhm.
before we create these videos,
Yeah.
I have to go to YouTube and search to make
Exactly.
sure I'm creating the right kind of video. Is that
Exactly.
how the process is like?
I would say this. I would actually, instead of just saying, okay, let me search for this, I would look at Google Trends. Not to
Okay.
say Google Trends is the end all be all, but Google Trends can show you how popular a term is. So I bet like right now, if you went and looked up like coronavirus, for example, you would see nothing. And then all of a sudden you would see a whole bunch of stuff.
Right.
Actually, let's see if I can pull up Google Trends here.
All right. Let me stop
And
sharing.
it's trends.google.com, by the way.
Okay, trends.google.com, and let's see
And I'm going to get back to the closed
the
caption.
captions. Yes, I know in the past I could download the SRT file from YouTube after adding a video. Just looking to use this for getting the transcript for the video to use for the blog post without having to use a service like Rev.
Okay,
Does that
so
make sense?
actually, I have a better tool for you. Actually, let me.
Okay.
A much better tool, actually. So Rev is an expensive tool. Okay, so the tool is actually called Otter AI, and it's fantastic. You can actually upload any of your videos that you want to put that you want transcriptions for. It basically will give you everything that you possibly need. So Otter AI is a tool I would 100% check out. It actually is fantastic. You can upload videos directly to it. So if you want to get transcripts, upload any sort of video that you've made, it will spit out that transcript. They actually give you a whole bunch of minutes for free. And then obviously you have to pay at that point, but it's not, like, oh, you get 10 minutes for free. I think you get like 600 minutes a month or something. It's crazy.
Can you repost that link for Agus? Agus?
Yeah. Good
Yeah,
call. Yeah.
because that's also went privately. I didn't realize that.
There you go. Sorry about that.
Awesome. That's fine.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's awesome.
So here's Google Trends. So let's look up like, okay, so I'm in the United States. So I want to make sure I pick obviously the right location. Let's put in like, we'll put in COVID-19 or we'll put in, yeah. Okay, so we'll look up COVID-19. Let's see what this trend is. And it's probably pretty crazy. It's probably nothing. And it's actually peaked a little bit. Okay. So as you can see, okay, so for the longest while, like nothing. And then was this March? March is when it really started to pick up. In this case, I'm just looking up COVID-19. I'm not even looking up the right way to
Right,
search.
not coronavirus. Or
Right,
the search.
So as you can see, you kind of have to also look up like what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So I'm actually surprised that these numbers are not as high as they are. I actually think they should be much higher. But basically, I would go here and I'm like, okay, let's look up how to leave a Facebook group. Leave a Facebook group. Okay, so I'm going here because I can now get an idea of, okay, is this something I should spend my time on? So as you can see, I mean, okay, in February, there's 15 people. There's not a whole lot of people looking up how to leave a Facebook group necessarily, obviously over the past 12 months. Let's expand that though to like 2004 to present. This is where like, as you can see now, the trend line here tells a different story. Hey, wow, there actually are people looking up how to leave a Facebook group. And we can also get an idea of what region we're in. So this way, if like we're in a specific state, for example, South Carolina here, there seems to be a fair amount of search engine interest here. So this might be some content that I could get some low-hanging fruit on. Basically, if I go and I rank for a how to leave a Facebook group video, I can get low-hanging fruit, meaning I can get the people that are searching for this, that there's not a lot of competition actually looking for the keyword. So, so that's like Google Trends. That's one place I would start with. Another tool I would actually look at is Answer the Public. Actually, have you guys checked that one out?
Yeah, we recommend that one a lot for blogging. So that's great that you're telling us that we can use that for YouTube as well.
100%. I would use it because here's the thing: you're looking up. It's partly okay. What are my customers telling me their questions are. But if I don't know that information, use Answer the Public, use Google Trends to help you make sure you're making the right decision based off of, you know, what you think is the right thing. Now, I still would say, okay, I know who my customers are. I want to make sure that I'm actually covering the topics they are interested in. And so, you know, that's where, like, if you have a customer support team, for example, what are the questions that they are constantly fielding? So they have they have multiple hats that they're wearing. They're not just like helping your business, but what they're helping actually do is they are actually helping you identify the right questions that you should be answering as a business. Now, here's the thing. They can sit there and they can like type out the same exact response every time. But if you see, okay, hey, we're getting on a consistent basis, people have this one specific question. And, you know, once you figure out what that question is from them, then you write a piece of content. So then it's much easier for your customer service people to be able to say, well, hey, here's an article on that versus having to type out that description all of the time.
Yeah.
So I would definitely recommend something like that. If you don't know what the right, you know, questions are that you should be writing about, ask your customers as well. I mean, create a Google form and send it out to them, and definitely say, well, hey, you know what? I think these are the topics you're interested in. If they're not, hit reply and tell me. So actually engage with your audience.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
And another thing also, by the way, with captions is, you know, as you're getting captions created, you can have Otter do the transcription for you. If YouTube does the transcription as well, you can go through and you can actually go and download that and put it up on Facebook. I know Facebook has auto captions on Facebook Live now, but if you want to put it there, definitely put it on that channel as well. If the captions are not good, that's a key thing. They might not be good, but I think they'll be pretty good. So.
All right, awesome. Well, Christian, you have provided incredible value to us today. Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming back to, you know, to our students and providing some valuable YouTube hands-on learning, which is what we wanted, pulling up some videos and really going through that. You know, it's like a checklist for us to think about all these different pieces of SEO. And as you said, they all work together. Super helpful things I never thought about. I made lots of notes. Thank you, Christian. We appreciate you. And, you know, we thank you so much for your time. And I kind of hinted to it earlier when you went out and had a drink of water, but you're in the Middle East, correct? Is it late at night for you right now?
It's about 9:30. Yeah.
All right.
I love this stuff though. That's the thing. I would sit here and I would work with this all the time. So.
Yeah. And we can tell, you know, when we have guests on, and those of you who watch every week, we can tell when the guest is super excited about the content and is knowledgeable and loves teaching. And we can tell that you did an excellent job at teaching us. And we really surely appreciate that. So you have a wonderful evening. And thank you, everybody, for watching. If you have follow-up questions, Christian, are you in our group? I know that you were a student,
Sure,
a teacher before. Are you in the group or not? Do you know?
I'm not sure offhand. Feel free to add me.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll do that if anybody has follow-up questions for Christian. And they can reach you at Social Chefs. Is that correct?
Yes. Christian at socialchefs.com. And then I actually have a couple, can I share a couple real quick things for people?
Yeah.
So, okay. So the first thing is this. So if you're going to be publishing a video, you know, it is something you have to work at. So the first time you do a video, it may seem like, well, hey, I've got to spend 30 minutes just trying to optimize the video, one single video. You know, it does pay off the more you do it, the more you pay attention to the analytics, you know, and so basically you're doing what other people are not spending the time doing, which is they're not spending the time finding the keywords and putting the right information in there. And that's where some of these tools can help, like the TubeBuddy tool, for example. If I am consistently creating a series and I have a specific title that I use, or I have specific tags, you can actually create tag lists in the tool. And then that way, when you publish a new video, it can automatically upload a custom thumbnail. It can automatically let you pick from the tag list that you've already created. So instead of having to type out, you know, 10 specific tags on every video, they're already there. You just click once and it imports them into the video. So definitely some things you want to make sure you use to help save yourself a lot of time.
Okay, excellent.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you again, Christian. We really appreciate you coming to to our hangout and sharing your expertise with our students. And students, thank you for watching. Excellent, excellent learning opportunity about YouTube. We'll be referencing this a ton moving forward, I am sure. Thank you so much, everybody.
Very much. Bye, everyone.
Bye.